So, have you ever stopped to think about how we got from a simple if this, then that command to an AI that can pretty much think for itself? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to trace this incredible journey of AI automation, all the way from basic scripts to these new intelligent agents that can plan, reason, and act all on their own. Let's get into it.
Just look at this. On the left, that's the old way, right? A super simple, rigid rule. It's helpful, for sure, but it's just following an order. But on the right, whoa, that's a completely different universe. We've gone from a tiny instruction to this big, ambitious goal. We're not telling the machine how to do the job anymore. We're just telling it what we want. And that one little shift, well, that changes everything.
Okay, so to really get where we're going, we've got to start with where we've been. It all began in this foundational era of automation. Think about those early automation tools. I mean, they were game changers, no doubt, connecting all our apps. But they were basically like a stage play. A human, that's you, had to write the entire script. Every line, every action, every single step had to be defined beforehand. And if anything unexpected happened, the whole play would just stop. All the intelligence was in the scriptwriter, not the actor on stage. So the next big leap forward was all about making that script writing process easier and way more visual. We basically moved out of the theater and into a digital workshop.
And this is where we get the idea of a digital assembly line. You have platforms like NNN, which is super cool because it's open source and you can host it yourself, that gave everybody this drag and drop canvas. So instead of writing lines of code, you could literally just connect the dots. You could visually link different operations to build these really intricate workflows. This was huge because it opened up automation to so many more people who weren't expert coders.
And the basic building block for all of this stuff is what's called a node. The easiest way to think about a node is that it's just one single job. It could be a trigger, like, hey, check for new emails. It could be an action, like, post this message to Slack. Or it could be a bit of logic, like, if this happens, then do that. You string these little nodes together, and boom, you've got a seriously powerful automated process.
Okay, let's make this real. This is a perfect example of how it works. So, step one, a tool called Uptime Robot, a trigger node, sees a server is down. Bam! It kicks off the next node, which is an action. It automatically runs a script to try and restart the server. And no matter what happens, succeed or fail, it triggers those final nodes to send out alerts on Slack and WhatsApp. See? It's a perfect little digital assembly line working all by itself.
Now, as cool as that is, it's still just a pre-built assembly line. It's following a script. The real paradigm shift, the moment that changes the game, is when we stop telling the machine what to do and start telling it what to achieve. This is the dawn of autonomy. And this is the question that just blows the whole thing wide open. Instead of us having to build the entire assembly line piece by piece, what if we could just tell the factory manager what we want and they figure out how to build the assembly line for themselves? And here it is, plain and simple. With a workflow, the human is the architect. You design everything. But with an agent, the human is the client. The agent becomes the architect, the planner, and the worker, all rolled into one. It can actually reason, strategize, and come up with its own to-do list to get the job done.
One of the first projects that really made people's heads explode with this idea was AutoGPT. It was this wild experiment that tried to just unleash GPT-4, let it prompt itself, chain its thoughts together, and try to solve complex problems without a human holding its hand every step of the way.
But, of course, this was brand new stuff, and it wasn't perfect, not by a long shot. Research pretty quickly showed the cracks. These early agents would get stuck in loops. They'd run out of memory and kind of forget what they were doing. They'd even sometimes create a tool to solve a problem and then completely forget to use it. These are the classic growing pains of a truly revolutionary technology. So, if a single autonomous agent has its limits, what's the next logical step? Well, you don't hire just one person to build a skyscraper, right? You build a whole team. And that is exactly where the cutting edge is right now. We're talking about multi-agent systems. It's like conducting a symphony, but instead of musicians, you have specialized AIs, each playing its part, all working together towards one big, complex goal.
And the stuff these teams can do is just mind-blowing. These are real projects, by the way. You can have a project manager agent that plans everything out and assigns tasks. You can have a car buyer agent that does all the research. You can even have teams that comb through scientific papers for you or help you prep for a job interview or even test your website's code automatically. Each agent is an expert at its own little thing.
Okay, so this is all incredible, but it leads us to a massive, and I mean massive question. If we are creating a whole new digital workforce of autonomous agents, how do we manage them? What's the rulebook? And this isn't science fiction anymore. This is a real question we have to answer, and soon. As these systems get more powerful and more common, we absolutely need a way to govern them, to make sure they're operating safely, ethically, and transparently. So one of the most interesting ideas out there is something called decentralized governance, or DGov. The idea is to use technology like the blockchain to create a whole new kind of rule book. So instead of one company or one government being in charge, the rules are actually baked into the network the agents are running on.
This ethos framework is a really cool blueprint for what that could look like. It would start with a global registry on a blockchain, so there's a permanent record of every agent. Then you could use smart contracts to automatically check if they're following the rules in real time. Their risk level could change on the fly. And it even includes ideas for transparent systems to handle disputes and things like mandatory insurance for agents to cover any damages. It's a plan for building trust into this brand new world.
Which leaves us with this, the big one. This whole incredible journey from simple clicks to actual cognition has brought us to a really blurry line. Are we just building smarter screwdrivers and better hammers? Or are we actually on the verge of creating a whole new class of digital colleagues? The answer to that question is going to define our entire future with technology.